All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're coming at you right now. It's the Common Cast. It's our brand new, one of two brand new shows this week. It is 1v1, where we got ourselves a moderator. That's me today. We got ourselves our two competitors. That is Torque, Edge of Space. Say hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
And in this segment, you have me. I'll be asking one of these two guys, both these guys, the same question. One is going to have to be in favor. One is going to have to be not in favor of the question I am asking. They don't know what the question is. They don't even know which side they are picking. So let's get into this right now. Torque, Edge. Wrestling, for a long period of time, back before kayfabe was broken, used to be about wins and losses to make it look realistic, like boxing matches. Pretty much everyone can agree, wins and losses mean very little in today's current wrestling format. So what I am asking you two, should WWE incorporate a power rankings system similar to the UFC, where a win moves you higher in the power rankings, and you can call an actual number one contender because they're in the number one spot to face a title? So, that being said, Torque, you're going to argue in favor of the power rankings. Luke, Edge of Space, you're going to argue against the power ranking system. All right. So that means, Edge of Space, you're going first. It's coming right at you, throwing you the ball. Go.
Okay. Here is the problem with a power ranking system. With a power ranking system, if someone were to have one of those storytelling matches where somebody goes and interferes and screws somebody out of it, then that goes down as a loss, and they're further moved down on the power rankings ranking list. Meaning that if you have traditional WWE storytelling where there's interferences all the time, then they're going to have those few select people who always win are going to find their way to the top of the power rankings all the time. And I'm going to say John Cena, Roman Reigns, two names that are very hot topics in amongst the marks such as myself. They will always find their way to the top. Or Brock Lesnar. He barely wrestles, so his few wins at big matches are going to move him all the way to the top of the power ranking system. If you wish to have traditional WWE storytelling in the way that they've been telling matches for years, that they've been telling stories for years, you can't have a power ranking system. It's how guys like Cesaro, who have had a list of losses, can suddenly make a massive comeback out of nowhere, even though, by all logic, he should be on the bottom of the power rankings because he's been losing so much. Same for Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose has been losing at pay-per-views since he debuted. Like, the high point in terms of titles that he's had was the United States Championship, and he was winning. He was winning for that, and it kind of got to the point where we forgot that the U.S. title was on him. He would have been at the top of the power rankings, but still, he lost the title to Sheamus, of all people. He lost a whole bunch of other matches. His tag team faction broke up. He lost at SummerSlam. He, by all rights, should have been thoroughly at the bottom. As if it couldn't get any worse, he jobbed to Bray Wyatt not once, not twice, but 3 times. And still, throughout 2015, he's able to main event not 1, not 2, but 3 pay-per-views. With traditional WWE storytelling, you can't have a power ranking system. You can say who's had the most wins, but once again, we've come accustomed to wins and losses not mattering. If we want to see the massive comebacks of people having the underdog story, like Bayley, for example, Bayley got thoroughly buried in NXT when a lot of people thought she had a lot of momentum behind her. Then she comes back, wins 2, count them, 2 matches, and she's the number 1 contender. If we have a power ranking system, stuff like that can't happen. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn would not have happened because the power ranking system would have had someone like Dana Brooks, I think, was having wins with her little buddy Emma. It would have been Sasha Banks and Dana Brooks, which in all honesty just makes me cringe. And since they were going to have Sasha drop the title, having Dana Brooks as NXT Women's Champion makes me very, very depressed, and that is what I believe.
All right, Edge. I was just about to cut you off so we could go over to Torque real quick. By the way, on the fly, making this up as we go along, both of you will get rebuttals at the end, so you'll get two ways, times to address your subject. All right.
Fuck
Torque.
you, Edge. Fuck you. Oh,
Torque, this is going out to you. Ball's in your court. Don't drop it. Let's go.
All right, there should be a wins-losses record because that's who deserves it. While the underdog does lose a lot, they tend to get screwed over, but we know they're better than them. Like wins and losses, they come cleanly or unclean, which is one of the problems with that, first of all. But anyway, the more you win, the more chances you should get. Such as like someone like Roman Reigns. I mean, when he came back, he beat the Big Show in a tiny feud, and then main evented WrestleMania 31. I mean, does that win-loss record like really give him the shot that he deserves just to main event WrestleMania, just like that, from barely coming back? Where someone like, I don't know, I guess you could say John Cena, because he has the best win record, probably should have done it even better. I mean, a win-loss record really shows who, like, what kind of person you are in the ring, and who you're better than and who you're not better than. It also shows who you can beat cleanly and who you cannot beat cleanly. Something like, damn it, I had an example. Fuck. I don't have it anymore. Anyway. I'm struggling so bad. Hold on. Let me contain my thoughts. I can't contain my thoughts. So, like, when Daniel Bryan returned before WrestleMania 31, he probably had a better win-loss record than Roman Reigns, even though he was built as an underdog. He still won quite a bit of matches, and he deserved it more than Roman Reigns. And personally, I would have rather seen Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar than Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, because, well, that just would have been better. And then they decided, no, this main event just sucks. Well, Seth Rollins, go.
Yep.
Fuck me. But something like Shawn Michaels, who has the worst win-loss record at WrestleMania, is named Mr. WrestleMania. I mean, does he really deserve that? I mean, by those standards, The Undertaker should be called Mr. WrestleMania. Fuck. Or someone like Rob Van Dam, who is actually 6-0 at WrestleMania. Fuck. Shut up! I can hear you laughing. Oh my god. Anyway, a win-loss record really depicts who is better than who. I mean, someone like, let's go to NXT for example. Someone like Apollo Crews now has a championship shot because he won a Battle Royale. Whereas someone like Samoa Joe is undefeated and has been around a little longer than Apollo Crews. I mean, why doesn't he deserve the shot right off the bat rather than Apollo Crews? I mean, it makes sense to put Samoa Joe in that position rather than Apollo Crews, who is, I think, had 2 or 3 matches. He is undefeated as well, but he has not been around quite as long as Samoa Joe. And that was a struggle, but that's what I believe.
All right, Torque. Thank you very much. We're gonna put it over right back straight to Edge of Space. All right, and you're gonna get significantly less time here. All right, so just a brief synopsis of what you want, and then we'll get into who I think I mean, you still got time to sway me. Then we'll get into who I think won this 1v1. All right, Edge of Space, go.
So this is the rebuttals, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you said something during that kind of disproved everything that you said, in that you said that Daniel Bryan came back with a better win-loss ratio than Roman Reigns, but didn't main event WrestleMania. This is you're rubbing off on me. I forgot. Fuck. All right, I'll go to Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews winning a battle royale to become the number one contender has absolutely nothing to do with wins or losses. The fact that he won a battle royale to win the number one contendership is how wrestling has been going for a very long time. So you saying that him winning, that just because Samoa Joe is undefeated, that makes it he should become the number one contender for the NXT championship? If this were UFC, and that is something that a lot of wrestling marks such as myself hate saying because we don't want it to be like UFC. If this were like UFC, that would make perfect sense. But the thing is that when Apollo Crews tossed Baron Corbin over that top rope and he overcome the odds to become the number one contender for the NXT championship, that sounds far better to me than Samoa Joe just coming in from TNA, winning a bunch, and then saying, yeah, I'm going to be the NXT champion. And then even though he's been on a win streak, losing to Balor, because we know that's going to happen because Balor hasn't held the title nearly long enough to drop it in NXT. So saying that just because Samoa Joe has been on a win streak, that he should be the number one contender in wrestling, which isn't real, by the way. The moves are real. We're just telling stories, though. It's not UFC. It's not a real competition where wins and losses matter. We live in a day and age where wins and losses do not matter with the WWE. So, Samoa Joe going on a win streak and then just becoming the number one contender doesn't really follow how wrestling is set up.
All right, 20 seconds, go.
Okay, me? Fuck.
No,
right now?
no.
Oh.
No. Edge of Space, 20 seconds left, go.
And then if wins and losses were to matter, then I guess it would have been good that Roman Reigns didn't main event WrestleMania. But the thing is that he did still win against the Big Show quite a bit. So we would have seen him in a high-ranking position at WrestleMania 31 anyways, which we didn't want. So nobody wins, no matter what statement it is you make about this. And that is what I believe.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to go straight back immediately to Torque. Torque, your final synopsis. Why do you believe there should be a ranking system? Let's go.
There should be a ranking system. However, it should be a little different than just wins and losses like you brought up Roman Reigns in the Big Show. I mean, you beat the Big Show. About everyone can beat the Big Show. I mean, he's old, he's slow, la-da-da. But just because you beat the Big Show multiple times doesn't mean you should get a championship shot. This win-loss record should be based on how many different people you beat. Like, if Roman Reigns came back and he beat the Big Show, he beat, like, Jesus, I don't know, he beat Rollins because he was still Money in the Bank. If he beat all these different kinds of people, then yes, that would make sense. But he came back, beat one guy who isn't entertaining at all, a couple times, and now he mains event WrestleMania. Where someone... Jeez, I don't know. I can't think of anyone with a great win-loss record off the top of my head, but someone else deserved that more than Roman Reigns. Plus, Roman Reigns just showed up and won. And back to Apollo Crews, where you said, yes, Samoa Joe winning the NXT Championship would just be too soon, and Apollo Crews... him having a win-loss record or being too early doesn't matter because he won the Battle Royale. That's kind of the problem. You see, like, the guy's name I can't remember his name, but he just put that Battle Royale together, and it kind of just fucked over, like, people who have been around and who have more wins than Samoa Joe.
20 seconds.
However, have more losses. So it just makes sense to have a ranking system based on how many people win and how many people are talented. So, that's what I believe.
Can I make one statement? One statement real fast?
No, because you already fucked my ass.
Okay, never mind.
All right. We'll get to that statement after the end. At the end. All right. So before I tell you who I think won this 1v1, I'm gonna drop some quick knowledge on how I feel about the question, because of course I have an opinion. I asked the question.
I would just like to say I agree with Luke. I
could have argued either side, to be totally honest. I had points for both.
Fuck you.
Okay. All right. So yes, Trevor, Torque, you would have preferred. You would prefer there not be a ranking system.
Yeah.
For clarification, Edge of Space, you would. How do you feel if you could implement it? Would you implement it?
Absolutely. Because then it forces WWE to actually take Raw and SmackDown matches seriously instead of every one of them just being stupid throwaways. Because then they have this power ranking thing to be concerned about. I have things to say.
Yes or no question.
Yes, I would have implemented if it can be implemented well.
All right, exactly. And the way I feel on the subject is yes. The WWE should implement it, but with certain factors taken in, such as if Daniel Bryan is coming off of an injury and he faces Johnny Nobody, Zack Ryder, that win moves him up, one spot if someone else loses right above him. But there should be room based on how high quality the match is, whether it's on Raw or SmackDown, where it is on the card, if it's mid-card, upper card, or if it's at a pay-per-view. And what is the stipulation of the match? Assuming Brock Lesnar is for a hypothetical, if Brock Lesnar's number 10 in the company, then Undertaker should be, and he beats Undertaker in Hell in a Cell, well, that's a pay-per-view, that's a Hell in a Cell match, he should move up more than just one or two spots. Everything shouldn't just be calculated straight win-loss. There should be more calculations put on that. But yes, I would very much like to implement a ranking system for the WWE and really for all wrestling promotions. I think that would be helpful. All right, now I'm gonna get into who I think won this 1v1, and
I wonder
Trevor,
who it could be.
Torque, you brought up two very good points about how you two very good points that I said during my little after speech thing that I agree with. And I know that's hard because you don't agree with it. All right, you get an A for effort and like a D plus for implementing it. All right, so the inaugural winner of the first 1v1 is Edge of Space, which means Edge of Space, you have won the distinct privilege of being the second moderator on the next 1v1.
Fuck, that means I have to argue again.
Can I just say one thing? Actually, one thing several times in a row. Yes! 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 You can see I'm doing the hand gesture as well. No, you can't because I'm not on camera.
Not yet. All right. So
this means I have to argue again.
Yes, it does mean you have to argue again. You pretty much have to argue until you win, so.
Fuck's sake.
Funny about the win-loss ratio that you're going to have when this is all over.
Alright. I'd like to thank all the viewers for joining us. If you like what you see, you better hit that subscribe button. For Edge of Space, for Torque, we're riding off into the sunset. We'll catch you down the road.